not think technology has become an obstacle for students to concentrate and grasp knowledge. I think when we think about technology, we have to be very sort of holistic and honest about it. Did the invention of the pencil impact students' ability to concentrate and grasp knowledge? I don't know. Did the invention of the blackboard or PowerPoint change it? You know, so again, I think a very sort of nuanced, complex conversation, and it's not black or white. It's not as simple as saying having a laptop. Excuse me. It's not as simple as saying having a laptop in the classroom necessarily impacts students' concentration negatively, because that's just not the case. And even if there are studies that try to show that's the case, they're not showing the full picture. And in fact, I'll give a sort of an aside example. There was a study that came out about 3 years ago that claimed active learning doesn't work. Okay? And everybody was in an uproar, and it got a lot of press and a lot of international attention that this pedagogy, active learning, wow, it may actually not work. But when you look at the study itself, they were using faculty who had not been trained in how to use active learning pedagogy. So they were using it poorly. So of course it's not going to work. And I think about technology in the classroom and in teaching and in learning in very much the same way, that it's a tool, right? And if something goes wrong, we cannot blame the tool. We have to blame the user, right? Because that means the user used the tool wrong, or they used the wrong tool. So this is why with, let's say, a faculty member comes and says, I'm considering whether I should ban laptops in my classroom or allow students to use them all the time, I say, well, that's not the decision you need to make, right? There are other alternatives here. You could decide, well, there might be times where I want them to use a laptop and times where I don't want them to. That's a whole third option that has a lot of sort of gradations in there. And then you're thinking about the tool very differently. Because now you're thinking about the tools, where does this tool become useful? Where do I need a hammer to hammer in a nail? And where do I need a screwdriver? And where might I just need to use my hand? Okay? And being able to sort of pull pedagogy apart enough to be able to say what tool is going to best serve my needs in this given circumstance is a better pathway to think about how I can use technology to improve learning and avoid the obstacles or challenges that come from it potentially becoming a distractor. Right? Part of this is sort of a learning opportunity in itself for the students to learn that these tools aren't just there for potential distractions, but how they can be used effectively and productively in the service of something very purposeful like a learning experience in a class.